Kwazambia African TV.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kwazambia African TV. This is your host, Franck Ebang. It is always another pleasure to tune in and get to talk to you and report to you about what's going on in our dear Omaha community. It is very important to me to always find a moment to come and talk to you about the people of value, the people that make this community stand out. Today, I'm receiving Balkissa, who's a friend of mine. We're going to talk a little bit about her latest business endeavor. I don't like to call it a business because it's actually something that she holds dearly. It's making impact back home where she comes from. Balkissa, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Frank.
You look fantastic.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, now today we will be talking about La Grande Academy. Our English will say the Great Academy,
yes.
Which is a school initiative that you started in your home country of Niger.
Yes.
We will be talking about it, but before we get to that, I want our viewers to know a little bit about you. I was able to gather that you are very much versed into the community. I mean, you do a lot. You really do a lot. I have seen you, I met with you in a few of the events, networking event in the community, leadership events in the community, and I also know that you lead the Excellence Insight Consulting. What is that?
So with Excellence Insights, I help organizations and small businesses,
right,
and even corporations. I do contracting for corporations as well.
Right.
And I, with small businesses, I help them with setting up their businesses and improving their operations.
Right.
So becoming more efficient and being able to, organize their information and get the right data to better serve their customers.
Right.
And we also offer bookkeeping services because it all tied together, right? Your customers pay you and you have to manage it somehow.
Absolutely.
Right. So I also do operational excellence services for corporations,
Right.
which is really process improvement, process mapping, project management in the business analysis industry. So really the bridge between business and IT.
Right. Wow, I don't know that I could have said it any better the way you just put it all together. That was so scientific to me, but I like the way it sounded. So thank you so much for being here. Like I was saying earlier, we'll be talking about La Grande Academy, the Great Academy, which is your school initiative.
Yes.
In Niger. So tell me about what inspired you to actually start the school in Niger.
My inspiration, honestly, it was nothing magical.
Right.
I finished my MBA degree from UNO, and I was just wondering, now what? Usually when you have an MBA, you would think that you're an executive, right?
Right.
So I thought, it's a degree that really, got me ready for great challenges.
You betcha.
So then what is that great challenge?
Right.
And at that time, I considered moving back home and be more useful there
Right.
with that degree.
Right.
But reality, that was not going to be possible because
Right.
then if I go back home, the journey of, migration, that's not easy anywhere. No matter where you go to settle down, getting started, getting a job, all that wasn't easy.
Right.
So I was lucky I already had a job here. So I thought, why not invest in something that is useful, that is needed, that leaves a legacy?
Right.
So something like that would be really worthwhile, the effort, because nothing is easy in the world. So might as well tackle the most difficult thing and put your energy there.
Right.
So that's how really I got started with the school project.
Right.
I felt like there was a gap, there was a need for it. I mean, globalization has shrinked the world.
Right.
But when you look at the developed and the underdeveloped world, the gap is still widening so much.
Absolutely.
So why is that?
Right.
People don't have the tools they need. They don't have the resources they need.
Right.
So imagine a school in a rural area in Africa that has high-tech labs, science labs, technology, right? Decent sports fields, not just the sand.
Right.
The sand field, Imagine a rural area that has that, and children grow up with those tools to learn and keep up with the current innovations.
They have to compete with. Right.
Exactly, the world that they have to compete with. So they grow up learning those tools and being equipped to compete in that field. So I feel like then you're getting closer to equity there. Right? Because children are having the same tools and they're growing up with the same kind of education.
Right.
Then now you can say it's a fair match.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's really my vision. That is the gap that I'm trying to bridge.
Clearly, education means a lot to you. I can feel it, I can see it, and anybody that kind of follows your advancement can see that. Education means a lot. I remember a good friend of mine saying that education is the father and the mother of the orphan. How does that resonate to you?
You know, there is not a bigger truth than that. Education is the mother and father of the orphan. Because who is there to really guide the orphan? Who is there to hold their hands, right? So education really gives you the skills that you need.
Right.
It fills in the gap. If you have talent, it helps you enhance it.
Right.
If you don't, it gives you a clue or a hint about, you know, it gives you the basics to kind of fill in that gap.
Yes.
So education is much needed, you know, in children, with adults. Education, I mean, it's important.
Right. Now, with regards to, you know, the effort and energy and time you've put into building the great academy in Nigeria, could you tell us more about what have been the challenges and successes of this, you know, school initiative out there?
We can spend all day on that question. I swear.
I can imagine.
Challenges, really managing a global team.
Right.
That's a big challenge with the time difference.
Right.
Niger is 7 to 8 hours
Right.
difference compared to Omaha, especially when we do the hour change. So that's my first challenge, waking up early to work
Right.
before going to work here. And then you also have a difference in perspective with the community that I'm working back there.
Tell me more.
There is a lot that if you don't live in a reality, there are some things that are just unconceivable, right, in your mind. I really pay attention to detail.
Right.
And that's another big area where we always have conflict, because I will call out things or talk about details and they feel like, what a waste of time, you know, we're done with this, so let's move forward. You know, this is ready, let's roll this. Like, no, we're not done. So it's really the difference in perspective. We're living in two different realities.
Right.
So even though, I mean, they speak French, I speak French, sometimes it feels like we're speaking two different languages.
Right,
because,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes. But you're walking that through, though. You clearly doing well about it, right? So
it's
it
a
is
learning
possible.
process for me too. It's an education for me too.
Right, right.
Right? It's a journey. I don't know. I don't know how
now
I'm doing
you
it.
build the school from the ground up today.
Yes.
Now, how many years has that taken you?
So I started in 2013. 2013, I did the application and got approved by the local authorities there to implement the program and start the school. They give you a provisional application. I tried to find a space, but honestly, everything was expensive, because, you know, people hear that you live in the US and you're trying to open a school and they think that, you know, it's a money pit. And with all the estimate that I got, I realized that might as well hold off for a year, save that, and then start building.
Right.
Because I had the space. So that's what I did. So a year later, we started building, but our authorization is only valid for 2 years. Within 2 years, if you don't open, they recall it and you have to reapply. So then we finished that building. We did 3 classrooms, office, and, you know, the resource, bathrooms, restrooms, and office and storage space. So we started with that. We got our second approval at the end of those 2 years, which is really the approval to operate now. So we started in that takes us to 2015. We started in 2015. We invited 19 kids from the neighboring area, because the school is in a remote area. Where the school was when we started building, there was nothing. You look all around us, 360, it was just plain field. And it was, you know, Niger is part of the Sahara Desert, really hard.
Right, I can imagine, yes.
So there was no one. There were just a few houses where, you know, how in Africa, when you have an empty house, you have security.
Yes.
So they live there with their families. So we invited those to start in 2015. We had 19 kids. That went well. In 2016, we got a bus.
Right.
And then, you know, we filled up to 60 students.
Yes.
We did 2016 that way. And then 2017, 18, I mean, we kept growing.
Right.
We're still with 3 classrooms now. So our next milestone now is to add more classrooms for students who are moving forward. Now our oldest students, they are moving into 6th grade, and made the space for that.
You know, Balkissa, congratulations on that initiative, though.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's praisable. I mean, we have to, give you that tap. It's just great. For what you're doing over there. I mean, we live in an era of globalization, and we want to make sure that our children in Africa are equipped with the tools and resources to be able to compete, to be able to be out there within the international platform and have the same type of reasoning, the same type of logic, the same type of know-how to do like anybody else if they have to succeed. So it is great what you're doing. We appreciate that. Now, talk to me more about the future and hopes of the Great Academy. How do you see that going, let's say 5-10 years from now? Where do you see the Academy going?
10 years from now, I am hoping that our technology lab is set.
Right.
Our science lab is set, and our sports fields are done.
Right.
So, and that we have all the levels in the elementary school, and that we've filled out our classrooms.
Right.
That is my hope 10 years from now.
Right.
And hopefully we organize an exchange experience with students here.
Right.
Here in Omaha, we actually organize the summer camps, the World Tour Summer Camp, where we introduce kids to different cultures, different countries every day during the camp.
Right.
So part of that experience is also the communication with the students at La Grande Academy.
Right.
So they're able to communicate with children that are same age, same academic level.
Yes.
So they're able to exchange and kind of get to learn the different worlds in their own languages, right? In their own ways.
Right.
For what matters to them. You know, whatever matters to you at 7 years old. That's really
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Yes.
So hopefully that becomes more than just a Skype.
Yes.
And hopefully we can have a physical exchange.
Yes. Now, I'm interested into asking this question. I mean, you speak English very well. I mean, let me ask you this. So,
was I able to fool you?
You're doing well. You're doing very well. I mean, Niger is francophone, right?
Yes.
So, is education, at La Grande Academy taught in English, in French? Is it bilingual? How do you? Because you were still talking about,
it is French.
Yes.
It is French. The goal is to end up bilingual.
Right.
But for now, it is in French.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
And it's part of our challenges that eventually we'll need to bridge.
Get there. All right. Absolutely. Well, again, we're proud of La Grande Academy and all the initiatives that people like you in the community are taking to connect the diaspora and back home. Because ultimately, what we do here makes more sense when we are able to, create that bridge that will, bridge Africa to the world, starting with our own initiatives. So now, because you cannot go alone, we want people to help out. We want to be part of your journey with the Great Grande Academy. So for the people here in a community in Omaha, Nebraska, or throughout the United States who want to help, how do we go about that?
So if you want to help here in Omaha, you can go to our website. You visit our website and there is a page dedicated to the Friends of the Great Academy.
Right.
And there are several ways you can help, right?
Yes.
You can organize events to support us where proceeds will go towards the construction of the school, or you can simply, donate.
Right.
There's no amount is small, honestly. Right. You can also volunteer. If you have skills to provide, you can also volunteer. We do list our projects and stuff. Just to reach out to us that you want to volunteer, and we can send you some options of projects that you can commit to.
Right.
And you can also make a difference that way. So you don't have to have money to support us.
Right. Balkissa, thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for being here and sharing.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you so much for supporting that. I mean, I cannot do it without friends like you supporting. So
we are here for that.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to having you here with Croissant Pierre African TV, so we can talk about our game changers. We can keep talking about our mentors, our the people that inspire us. And this is what we do. We want to make sure that we strengthen, we empower our community, that if you're doing something out there, you are in Omaha, Nebraska, you are of African descent or a friend of Africa, reach out to us so we can share your story to the world, so we can encourage you, we can support you, because we can go along. That's the word. If you didn't know it, now you know. Thank you for being on Croissant Pierre African TV. Until next time, asante.
Croissant Pierre African TV.